Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the current situation financially, of course, when it comes to Disney, is that they are completely banking on Deadpool 3, aka Deadpool and Wolverine, making a decent profit at the box office so that they can look back at 2024 and say that this movie was the start of their success. Now, we already know that 2025 is going to be full of expensive failures, starting off with Captain America 4 in February of next year, followed by Snow White in March of next year. It's not a good beginning as we speak for that year when it comes to Bob Iger and his lack of leadership skills. I mean, let's just face the facts here. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, the reason why I like to bring up the two divisions the most, such as Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm, as the two most failed divisions at the Walt Disney Company, has a lot to do with the fact that they are being run not just by Bob Iger, but we also have to look at Kevin Feige of Marvel Studios and Kathleen Kennedy of Lucasfilm. But let's go over to Marvel Studios. Now, there's a lot of things happening right now with Deadpool and Wolverine, alright? Now, Deadpool 3 is the one project that has been really dealing with a lot of drama over the past couple of months between Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, director Sean Levy, and the writers like Paul, of course, and Rhett really getting involved and going head-to-head against the Disney higher-ups in a desperate move to basically save the third act from shoving DEI agendas in there. And we already know that reshoots are set to begin in late March that will last until May. That's basically what Bob Iger and the rest over at Disney are pushing right now. And let's get into exactly what's going on with Hugh Jackman and what really is going on between himself and Disney. Now, with both Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm going through various cutbacks due to Bob Iger's cost-cutting measures, one major development has to do with actor Hugh Jackman getting involved in serious drama related to Disney and Bob Iger wreaking havoc on certain aspects of Deadpool 3. Now, as it turns out, Jackman ran into many heated arguments behind the scenes between both Marvel Studios and Disney after they met financial differences when it comes to his return as Wolverine in the MCU. Now, one serious update of the situation is that Hugh Jackman recently abandoned a total of 4 Marvel-related projects that were planned to use the Wolverine character to sell tickets for Marvel's Phase 7, which would include a series of mutant material and connections to the Fantastic Four. Now, Jackman, of course, shot down a mega movie deal recently after many arguments took place between himself and Bob Iger. Essentially, Iger was drastically lowering the payout for Hugh Jackman and his return in multiple X-Men related Marvel movies, which consists of the main planned X-Men movies and spin-off films. As of now, Jackman took a stand back, of course, and made this decision quickly after Bob Iger refused to reinstate his scenes that got cut from Deadpool 3, which, by the way, involved violent scenes throughout World War II and Vietnam to show Wolverine's past. Now, Bob Iger reportedly lowered Hugh Jackman's payout for his, of course, MCU film deal and what would be considered a multi-film deal by roughly 40 to 45%, and it's something that Jackman tried to negotiate with the Walt Disney Company, only for Bob Iger to remain stubborn as he aims to pay less to the actors that hold stardom power. Now, Iger is also set to hire less actors, believe it or not, with stardom power to pay less to the talents of their projects by hiring more unknowns instead. In addition to this, Jackman is now also officially refusing to promote Deadpool and Wolverine on ABC-run programs, which are owned by Disney. This includes those like The View, Good Morning America, and even the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. One major project that Jackman shot down immediately was another project that would continue the adventures of Deadpool and Wolverine on the big screen. However, Iger wasn't, of course, too fond of Disney's push for DEI and their agenda getting fully intact into those projects and to make it less violent than Deadpool 3. Now, Jackman took action by putting his foot down and refusing to even hold the conversation with this project. The drama surrounding Jackman and his future MCU projects have been so large, it has been rattling through the Disney company behind the scenes. And with reshoots for Deadpool 3 already planned to, of course, fine-tune the Wolverine character with less violent scenes and less scenes revolving around other core characters, this is also what led Jackman to walking away from Disney on a large scale. So far, Jackman is also on the fence of returning to Avengers Secret Wars, as there are already financial arguments happening with that project as well. Now guys, before I get to the last big conclusion about all of this, what's interesting about this is we finally have actors like Henry Cavill stepping up. Now you got Hugh Jackman really taking advantage of his stardom power and really, containing his self-respect. And you know what? I can respect that. I look up to that. I actually love actors that stand up for themselves, like Gina Carano, Henry Cavill, or in this case, you got Hugh Jackman, really just going head-to-head against Disney. And I think at the end of the day, this is obviously due in part to the fact that Disney deleted key rated R scenes for Deadpool and Wolverine that were really going to showcase Wolverine's past throughout all the wars that he fought. Basically, Ryan Reynolds was creating a series of scenes that were basically going to be a little bit of a remake of what was done in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where you saw him fighting throughout the wars, right? You had him in the Civil War, you had him in World War II, Vietnam, all these different wars. So, interestingly enough, he shot down all these different X-Men related projects that Bob Iger wanted to pay less to Hugh Jackman for. And that just goes to show you how cheap Bob Iger is becoming when it comes to his cost-cutting measures, aka his cost containment plan that is only making matters worse, not just for Lucasfilm, but also for Marvel Studios in this scenario. Moving on. Now on top of this, Iger is reportedly very furious with Jackman stepping away from the many MCU X-Men related projects, since he knows they need Wolverine as a selling point for the beginning of Marvel's Phase 7 and the introduction of X-Men related projects. Now, Jackman's argument was that he didn't want to overdo the character's role, and that he is getting too old to begin with anyway. This in turn is already causing both Kevin Feige and Bob Iger to head into panic mode, and to completely restructure their plans for Marvel's Phase 7 and Mutant Era projects. So again, this is why the X-Men related projects have pretty much been radio silent by Disney. You haven't really heard much about them officially speaking, and a lot of it has to do with the drama surrounding Hugh Jackman behind the scenes, and a lot of these arguments happening back and forth, and how they really can't get a grasp, or they really can't get a good hold on a concrete plan for Phase 7, which, by the way, is still a little bit ways off. We're talking about years from now to begin with. So overall, I think that Jackman is really doing an excellent job by showing Disney who's boss and really putting it in their face about who really, is boss in this scenario. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this ongoing scenario, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.